In 1964, a woman screamed for help outside her apartment building. Dozens of people heard her. Almost nobody called the police. For 60 years, everyone got the reason wrong. Her name was Kitty Genovese. She was walking home late one night in New York City. She was attacked outside her apartment building. She cried out into the dark street for help. Lights flicked on. A few windows opened. Then, one by one, the lights turned off again. Days later, a newspaper ran a shocking headline. 38 witnesses, it claimed. Nobody helped. The story spread across the entire country. People were horrified. What had happened to society? But the real story was more complicated than the headline. Two psychologists read the story and asked a different question. Not, what's wrong with people, but what's the pattern? Their names were John Darley and Latané. They believed something deeper was going on. So they designed an experiment to test their theory. Participants sat alone in a room, wearing headphones. They believed other people were on the call too. Suddenly, someone on the call seemed to have a seizure. Participants could press a button to call for help. When participants believed they were the only listener, almost everyone rushed to help immediately. But when participants believed others were listening too, far fewer people acted. Some didn't act at all. The size of the group changed everything. More witnesses didn't mean more help. It meant less. Psychologists named this effect diffusion of responsibility. Everyone assumes someone else will act, so collectively, no one does. It wasn't cruelty, it was a psychological glitch. 3 thoughts happen almost instantly in a crowd. Is this actually an emergency? Is it my job to respond? What will other people think if I'm wrong? In new situations, people look to others for cues. If no one else looks alarmed, we assume we're overreacting. Everyone is waiting for someone else to move first, so nobody moves at all. This isn't just a lab result. It happens on crowded sidewalks. It happens in offices during emergencies. It happens online, in comment sections, and group chats. Years later, journalists went back and checked the facts. The original story wasn't fully accurate. Fewer people actually saw the attack than reported. Some neighbors did call the police. Some shouted from windows. But the exaggerated version of the story stuck anyway. Even though flawed, the story changed psychology forever. It forced researchers to study human behavior in groups, and what they found applies far beyond one tragic night. So how do you break the bystander effect? Psychologists found a surprisingly simple fix: make it personal. Point at one specific person. Instead of shouting, "Somebody help," say, "You in the blue jacket, call 911. Suddenly, responsibility has a name attached to it. And people respond. Emergency responders now train people this way. CPR classes teach it. Safety courses teach it. Assign a task. Assign a person. Break the diffusion. This isn't a story about cruel people ignoring a scream. It's a story about how crowds change our psychology. The same person alone might act instantly. In a crowd, that instinct gets diluted. Today, this shows up in new ways. Online harassment, where thousands watch and few intervene. Workplace misconduct everyone notices, but no one reports. The crowd size has grown. The crowd psychology hasn't changed. Studies show small interventions shift outcomes fast. One person acting first often breaks the freeze. Courage, it turns out, can be contagious too. But here's the danger in half-true stories. If we believe people are simply cruel, we stop expecting better. If we understand the psychology, we can actually fix it. Next time you're in a crowd during an emergency, don't assume someone else has it handled. Point, name, direct, act. This effect isn't limited to physical danger. It applies to speaking up in meetings. It applies to correcting misinformation you see shared. Diffusion of responsibility touches almost every group decision. Groups don't fail because people are bad. They fail because responsibility, when shared, can vanish entirely. Naming it is the first step to fixing it. The bystander effect remains one of psychology's most replicated findings. Decades of studies, across many cultures confirm the same pattern. Group size predicts helping behavior more than character does. So the real question was never, why didn't anyone help? It was, why does help disappear inside a crowd? Now you know the answer. And you know the fix. Don't shout, "Somebody help." Point at one person. Say their description, give them the job. That one sentence has saved lives. If this changed how you'd act in an emergency, that's the whole point of this channel. Subscribe. Storykeeper digs up the psychology hiding behind stories everyone thinks they already know.